Okay, good afternoon, sir. So, climate change is one of the most pressing global challenges of our time. There are many causes of climate change. First is generation power. So, when we say generation power, it is a process of producing electricity from various sources such as coal, natural gas, nuclear energy, hydropower, and etc. So this electricity is distributed to home, businesses, and industries from various uses such as lighting, heating, and powering electronic devices. So this generation power is created through various methods depending on the energy sources used. For example is coal-fired power plant. So ang coal-fired power plant is isa ni siya sa makakause sa climate change. It's because ang ginagamit nila nga process to produce electricity is nagasunog sila og uling, which is ang coal. And then, magsunog sila og uling to boiled water. And then katong boiled water is naga-produce siya og steam. And then katong steam is moadto sa turbines to generate electricity. So ang katong aso nga gikan sa pagsunog sa uling is maoto siya ang mugawas. And maoto siya ang ginatawag na carbon dioxide na moadto sa ato ang greenhouse gases and isa sa makakause sa climate change. Next is manufacturing goods. So manufacturing and industries produce emission mostly from burning fossil fuels to produce energy from making things like cement, plastics, clothes, and other goods. So manufacturing goods can contribute to climate change through various means such as greenhouse gas emission from production processes, deforestation of raw materials, and energy consumption during manufacturing. Okay, next is cutting down forests. So cutting down forests can also contribute to climate change. Forests act as a carbon sink, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it in trees and soil. So when forests are cut down or burned, this stored carbon is released back into the atmosphere as a carbon dioxide. So it is the reason of increasing greenhouse gas level and contributing to global warming. So cutting down forests can also contribute to climate change. Next is using transportation. So most cars, trucks, ships, and planes run on fossil fuels that makes transportation a major contribution to greenhouse gases, especially in carbon dioxide emission. The combustion of fossil fuels in vehicles release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases which contribute to global warming and climate change. So using transportations that run on fossil fuels can contribute to climate change. Next is producing food. So producing food can also contribute to climate change through various means such as deforestation for agriculture, methane emission from livestock, and using of fossil fuels in farming equipment. Next is powering buildings. The way they generate electricity to power buildings can indeed contribute to climate change. This powering buildings is under in generation power. They use fossil fuels to generate electricity. So, isa ni siya sa mga cause sa climate change. So, lastly is consuming too much. Your home using power, how you move around, what you eat, and how much you throw away, that is all contribute to greenhouse gas emission. So that is the causes of climate change. Good afternoon again, sir. My name is Jo Villavia Villanosa from BSED English 2B.
Now, let's have the change evidences of climate change in society. First evidence is the global temperature is rising. According to the Global Climate Report, it is said that the global records began at 1850, and from that year, 2014 to 2023, is the 10 warmest year in historical record, and 2023 is being the warmest year. It has a temperature of 2.12 degree Fahrenheit or 1.18 degrees Celsius. It is said that June to December was the hottest on record, and July, August, September has a temperature of 1.0 degree Celsius or 1.8 degree Fahrenheit. Did you know that it has been 47 years since Earth had a cooler than average year? Next evidence is the ocean is getting warmer. Because of the rising of the temperature, the ocean is getting warmer. Ocean absorb more than 90% of the excess heat energy caused by carbon dioxide emissions, and 24% faster warms the top layer of the ocean, which has a 0.11 degree per decade upon the upper skin of the ocean. It has the 2,300 feet or the 700 meter. That was the part of the ocean that most absorb heat. If you're getting into the water, you will observe that it's getting warmer, right? Even if you swim into the ocean at daylight, the ocean is warming. It's because it absorbs more heat, it absorbs more carbon dioxide emission. The next evidence is the ice sheets are shrinking because of the temperature is rising, because the ocean is getting warmer. The ice sheets are also shrinking. Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Data from NASA's Gravity, Recovery and Climate Experiment or the GRACE show that Greenland lost an average of 279 billion tons of ice per year between 1993 and 2019, while Antarctica lost about 148 tons of ice per year. If you think of that, that was a lot of mass ice sheets that has been shrinking from Greenland and Antarctica, knowing that Greenland and Antarctica has the biggest mass of ice sheets in the world. The next evidence is the sea level is rising. Because of the decreasing of the mass from the ice sheet, those water will contribute to the sea level. That is why it is rising. Global sea level rose about 8 inches or 20 centimeters in the last century. The rate in the last 2 decades, however, is nearly double that of to the last century, accelerating slightly every year. It is because every year the temperature of the global is rising. That is why the warming contributed to the decrease of the ice sheets, and those liquid will contribute to the sea level. That is why most of the island from any across the world will shrink and nowhere to be found. The next one is the ocean acidification is increasing. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of surface ocean waters has increased by about 30%. This increase is due to humans emitting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and hence more being absorbed in the ocean. The ocean has absorbed between 20% and 30% of total anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions in recent decades, between 7.2 to 10.8 billion metric tons per year. That is why those carbon dioxide causes more damages to the coral reefs underwater. That is why the fishes couldn't be able to stay in their habitat, because the coral reefs are made of some calcium or sodium that contributed to their whole physical part, and it is because of the carbon dioxide that the water is absorbing. They cannot reproduce, they cannot heal their body part because of the carbon dioxide that kills their part. The next evidence is the glaciers are retreating. If we say glaciers, these are the ice that is in a mountain. Ice that covers the mountain. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including in the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. If you notice, glaciers when they are retreating because of the temperature of the globe or the world, they are retreating. They are going back into what they have been become. They are becoming liquid. That is why this also contributed to the level of the sea. The last evidence is the snow cover is decreasing. Satellite observations reveal that the amount of spring snow cover in the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades, and the snow is melting earlier. It is because of the temperature of the global that is rising.
Good day, everyone. So now I will be discussing about the effects of climate change on society, on our society. So here are these are the five possible nga effect sa climate change. The first one is the weather. Widespread shifts in weather system occur, making events like drought is tagtuyot, hurricanes, mga bagyo, and floods more intense and unpredictable. Unpredictable like earthquake. Yes, earthquake is ano po siya, kaning part siya sa climate change. The second one is environment. From the poles to the tropics, climate change is disrupting ecosystems. Even a seemingly slight shift in temperature can cause dramatic changes. Of course, the climate change can affect in our environment. It's because as greenhouse gas emissions blanket the earth, they trap the sun's heat. So it can lead a global warming and climate change. The third one is agriculture. In a warming world, farming crops is more unpredictable, and livestock, which are sensitive to extreme weather, become harder to raise. Agriculture, reductions of water, the most common example of the agriculture or ang makasira sa ato ang mga tanom that maapektuhan ang agriculture. It's because of lack of water. Because when wala na tubig or mag-lack na og water, syempre mga matay ang tanom, and it can affect in our agriculture. And ang agriculture, if maapektuhan na ang agriculture if maapektuhan na ang agriculture nato, it can affect us as humans. Reductions of the water availability may all reduce a agricultural productivity. The fourth one is animals. Half of animal species in the world's most biodiverse places, like the Amazon rainforest and the Galapagos Islands. So the example of this is habitat loss. Rising temperatures affects vegetation. What else? Food sources, or katong para sa agriculture, the access of water. So when lack of water or lack of source of food, the animals is mamatay. Wala naman sila kaunon. And if wala na sila kaunon for that certain place, so therefore naay possibilities nga migrate sila sa lain place or mabalhin sila. So that climate change can affect in animals. Jude. The last one is humans. As around the world, our ways of life, from how we get our food to the industries around which our economies are based, have all developed in the context of relatively stable climate. So humans, kita, dako gid kayo effect sa tuwa ang climate change. The first is sa weather. Kung maapektuhan sa kung maapektuhan ang weather, apektuhan sa ta. the environment, of course. Of course. Kaya syempre, if madaot atong environment, apektuhan taas tao. Agriculture, of course. Sa agriculture nagakuha og foods. Isa ang agriculture sa ato ang source of foods. If the agriculture, ang agriculture is maapektuhan, of course, kita po. And the animals. Of course. Okay, syempre, kita, especially kita nga, hilig kay tag mga karne, like that, So, dako kayong impact or effect ang climate change sa to ang mga tao. Sa to ang ginakaon pa lang, sa environment, of course, sa tong weather. Okay, if mag-earthquake na dira, di ba, dahil maapektuhan. So, that could be all my report. Thank you.